This is our day 5 of the Unlock Your Sexual Desire training. And today we're going to bring it all together. So all the 4 days that we've done before, if you haven't done it before, watch this training and then go back. Yeah. So we will look at our light sexual desire blueprint, our shadow sexual desire blueprint, our breaks, our accelerators, and sexual desire matrix, and we're going to bring it all together. So this super important training where you can create so much more clarity. Yeah, what turns you on, what turns you off, and what you need to do to nourish your desire. Yeah, and how can you handle those breaks so they don't dampen your desire, they don't shut you down. So we're gonna bring it all together today, and I'm so happy to be here with you. Today is the day where we look at the whole map, and we're gonna go from simplicity to complexity and then back to simplicity. So please bear with me, and I know it's gonna make sense to you at the end of it. Very excited to be here with you, and let's start with just maybe connecting to your body, connecting to yourself. I'm gonna put some music on, and you can put one hand on your heart, maybe close your eyes, lower your gaze, having this time and space for yourself. So beautiful that you're taking this space for yourself. Even if you're listening to the recording, if you're here with us live, yeah, it's beautiful that we can spend this time connecting to our body, to our sensuality, to our femininity, taking this time away from the structure, from the rush of the world, from all the responsibilities. Yeah, putting your hand on your heart, focusing on yourself, on your beautiful self. And you can say hi to yourself, welcome yourself into this space. And you can say your first name, yeah, welcome. Hi, I'm here with you right now. This is time for you. And checking in with your body, with your heart. What's moving inside? How are you feeling in this moment? Maybe let some sound on the out breath. Drop it into your body. Drop it into your heart, into your belly, whatever it means for you. But coming into your body, away from your head, away from thinking, figuring things out, into your heart, into your belly. And checking in with your heart, asking your heart, how are you feeling today? What's moving in your heart? And listening to your heart. And then asking your heart, what's your message for me? What do you have to tell me? And deeply listening to your heart. And then putting your other hand on your belly. No, you can't see my belly, but putting your hand on your belly. Checking in with your belly, with your gut, with your intuition. Noticing what's moving inside. Then asking your belly, what's your message for me? What do I need to know? And listening. Just taking some time away from the busyness. Then you can hug yourself. Yeah, hug your shoulders, maybe squeeze your shoulders, saying hi to yourself. You can hold your face, your hands, just bringing that softness, a bit of a pause. You can say to yourself, I'm right here with you. I'm right here with you. Slowly, and be opening your eyes, taking a couple of deep breaths. Can get ready to start this training. I'm so happy to be here with you. And I hope each day you can take some time for yourself, even at least a minute. And now as I danced, and now as I connected to myself, to my heart, I just feel this, a sense of this delicious yumminess inside. I'm right here with you. So happy to be here with you. We're doing something amazing, something powerful, connecting to our sensuality, our sexuality, talking about things that we don't usually talk about. Yeah, I'm so happy that you're here, that you're taking this courage to be here, to listen to yourself. And I'll just go to the slides. Okay, here are the slides. So this is our 5-day Unlock Your Sexual Desire training. And today is the day 5. And as I said, even if you haven't seen the previous trainings, listen to this one, then you can go to the trainings. They're going to be there this weekend. So you'll have time this weekend to watch all the trainings. There's so much information there. And today we're going into creating your personalized sexual desire map. And we're going to bring together sexual desire matrix, your accelerators, your brakes, light and shadow blueprints. And the goal is to really create a clear, personalized map that reflects your sexual desire landscape. So it's going to highlight what fuels your desire and what holds you back. Going to create so much clarity for you. And I really celebrate you for being part of this training, yeah? Because once we start talking about our sexuality, our sensuality, we can start to feel freer. Yeah, we can start to express what we really want. We can start finding our erotic voice. It's super important work, huh? Because relationships is what makes us happy. Our relationship with our body, our sexuality is what makes us happy. It's so important. So I celebrate you. Thank you for being here. Yeah, and this is where we've been, yeah. And all the trainings are in our Facebook group. They're also on our membership site. So please go through them again, yeah, before they go away. And today is the day to create your personalized sexual desire map. Yeah, and that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna identify how your unique accelerators and brakes affect you, identify how your light and shadow blueprints affect you, and design your personalized desire map. Yeah, and remember, yeah, and what I brought, right? What I brought in this training is I've done a lot of research. Yeah, I've completed my master's research on female sexuality, and I've done a lot of trainings, and I really bring the somatic mindfulness Hakomi psychotherapy training into this. Yeah, I also bring my 2 postgraduate degrees in psychotherapy and counseling. And I'm also trained in sacred sexuality and trauma therapy. So I'm really trying to bring both Eastern and Western knowledge together, because I know just looking at the therapy model, yeah, and just going for healing is not going to bring us as much fulfillment. And I see that sacred sexuality brings that aspect of how can I step into something bigger? Yeah, how can I connect to the power bigger than me? How can I use my sexuality to actually open the doors for my deep fulfillment? Yeah, and it can be a spiritual journey. Working with our sexuality can be really fulfilling on many levels, yeah, on physical level, on emotional level, and also on spiritual level. So there's a lot at stake here, yeah. And also I work with couples, and I'm trained in emotionally focused therapy. And that's where what I bring to this training is really how does it integrate, yeah, how our personal relationship with ourselves connects to the relationship with the other person, yeah. And I work in my sexually empowered radiant woman course, we'll work a lot with that, yeah. And also I helped a lot of women to connect to the power and beauty of their sexuality, because and I used to be a chartered accountant, yeah. And working with this is just so powerful, it's so fulfilling. And just seeing women shine, start to radiate beauty is so amazing. And 2 weeks ago when I did my retreat, and on day one, women come and everyone feels a bit, oh, I don't know what's going to happen here, and it's a bit scary. And by day 3, everyone was just so radiant, so beautiful. And that's why I know the power of this work. It brings us so much joy and fulfillment to us. And for me, it's like, oh, if I can be your guide on this journey, it really deeply fulfills me. So thank you so much for letting me be your guide. And this is our mission, yeah, for the whole training. And I wonder, how do you feel about this mission now? Yeah. The mission was to understand sexual desire matrix and identify your light and shadow sexual desire blueprints, and then apply them in your life so you can experience heart melting intimacy. Yeah, so do you have a clear understanding of the sexual desire matrix and how to apply it in your life? And I hope by the end of today, you're really going to have this clear map. And please do engage with me. I'm just going to check the Facebook here. Please do comment, ask your questions. I'm really here to support you, to answer whatever is there for you. And remember, yeah, that this training, that to keep the challenge, you need to collect all the XP points in our membership site. So then you'll be able to go back to the trainings. The trainings on Facebook are going to disappear by the end of Sunday, yeah? So either watch on the Facebook or collect all the points on the membership site. And if you engage on the Facebook group, you'll get a chance to win relationship reboot session, yeah? And that's where we're going to work together, one-on-one with you, with your partner. And also the woman who engages most, you're going to win the 3 months scholarship to my Blossom into a Sexually Empowered Radiant Woman course. And we start on 16th of September. That's where we really take this information and turn it into transformation, where you start to live what you learn here. Yeah. And so that's where we've been. And I'm going to talk you through. Yeah. We just have a quick recap. And I invite you to take your journal. Yeah. Take your pen. And as I speak, if you can reflect, yeah, what stands out for you? What do you need to focus on? What parts of this training you need to go back to? What are you curious about? Yeah. And if you want to journal about it, yeah, what do you need to explore more? So firstly, we went to the sexual desire matrix. And sexual desire matrix consists of contextual factors, macro factors. That's the water we're swimming in, yeah? And that's environment, community, life stage, and spiritual beliefs. And then core or micro factors. And that's self-intimacy, body love, internal state, erotic voice, intimate resonance, and playful exploration. So which of these aspects you feel like, yeah, I got this one, and this is what I really want to focus on, yeah, for the next month. Yeah, I know that you might feel like you want to focus on all of them, but it's easy if you just pick one or two, because then you can focus on them, yeah, you can really pay attention, and then you can go to the next one. So which ones of this you want to focus more on? And then we looked at the dual control model, yeah, that was developed by Rick Jensen and John Bancroft. And these studies show that sexual arousal and desire are regulated by two mechanisms: the sexual excitation system, the accelerator, and the sexual inhibition system, the brakes. And the research they conducted focused on neurobiology of sexual response, yeah, specifically looking at how the brain's sexual excitation system and sexual inhibition system interact to influence our sexual desire and sexual arousal. And what their work really demonstrated is that people have different levels of sensitivity in these two systems, yeah? And that's what explains why some of us are more easily turned on and others are more easily turned off, yeah? So it really depends on the sensitivity of your system, yeah? And so that's there, the sexual excitation system, the accelerator, factors that naturally turn you on and increase your sexual desire. And they can be emotional, environmental, physical, yeah? And then the sexual inhibition system, the brakes. And these factors that shut down our desire, and often unconsciously. And again, they can be physical, emotional, environmental. So what from the sexual excitation and brakes, what are you taking? What do you want to focus on? Yeah, do you need to go back to the training to listen more? And then we looked at the sexual desire blueprints, yeah? And we looked at the light sexual desire blueprints, which are the sensualist, passion seeker, adventurer, nurturer, and erotic alchemist. Yeah. And then we looked at the shadow sexual desire blueprints, which are the healing alchemist, self-worth, hidden fire, pleaser, and performer blueprints. Yeah. And what opens up for you, yeah, if you haven't done the training, please go back. It's so important. Yeah, the sexual desire blueprints are hugely important for you to understand your sexual desire, what you need. And even doing one of them is going to open up so much for you, and you will get more clarity. And the most important piece, you're going to understand that there's nothing wrong with you. Yeah, it's just you're wired differently. Yeah, and everyone is wired differently. And so today we're going into creating your personalized desire map. Yeah. And this map will serve you as a tool to better understand yourself, your desires, what accelerates, what dampens your sexual energy. Yeah, and as I said, I've tried to structure this session to be useful and easy to understand. So we'll go from simplicity to complexity because our desire is a complex phenomena. Yeah, and then we'll go back to simplicity again. So please stay with me, ask your questions, take notes, and you'll be able to go to this training again. Yeah, during the weekend, you can look at it again. So this is your tree of desire. Yeah, love the picture. It took me a while to do this picture for you. I hope, yeah, it helps you visually to understand. Yeah, so this is our picture. And your tree of desire needs sun, it needs water, it needs good soil. Yeah, and then your tree of desire can grow. And the thing is, we're all unique trees. Every tree is different. So some of us need more water, some of us need more shade. Yeah, some of us need more sun. Every tree is different. And for example, if you don't need as much sun and there's too much sun, then your tree starts to die. Yeah. So even if it's a good thing, but if it's not your thing, if it's too much, then your tree is not going to grow. So you need that combination needs to be uniquely yours. Yeah. And that's how your tree of desire can grow. So super important to understand how much water I need, how much sun, how much good soil, what kind of good soil. Yeah. Like what's good, say, for a peach tree might not be so good for the plum tree. Yeah, we're all different. And so let's now look at our light sexual desire blueprints, yeah, and how they integrate with our tree of desire. And so the more your light sexual desire blueprint is activated, the more acceleration we have, yeah, of our desire. So I'll say it again, the more our light sexual desire blueprint is activated, the more acceleration we have. Yeah. And the more our light sexual desire blueprint is activated, the more healthy our desire matrix is, the more open our body, our emotions, and our soul is to sexual intimacy. Yeah. And I'll explain it more, so just bear with me. Yeah. And so the roots of our tree of desire is self-intimacy. Yeah. So for all of the blueprints, self-intimacy is foundational. Like when we go to sexual desire matrix, yes, self-intimacy, that the piece at the top, is foundational. It's the roots of our tree of desire. Because without self-intimacy, we can't really understand what we want, what turns us on, yeah, where to go with that. And so now let's look at how all the blueprints, yeah, we're going to look at all the blueprints and see what part of the matrix are most important for each blueprint. Yeah. So let's look first at the sensualist. Yeah. Okay, so I'll just tell you the blueprints here. The sensualist, it's all about physical sensations. Passion seeker is all about emotional intensity, focus on passion. The adventurer is all about novelty, playful exploration. And nurturer, emotional safety, focus on care, being held. And erotic alchemist is on spiritual depth, on sacred connection. Yeah. So now as we look, sensualist blueprint. What's important for sensualist blueprint? And remember that all aspects are important here, but some are more important for certain blueprints. And self-intimacy is important for each one. And for sensualist, environment, body love, internal state, and playful exploration are most important. Because sensualist is all about being in the moment and opening to the sensations. And so if you don't ground yourself in your body love, if your inner critic is too activated, that want the sensualist to experience the joy of being in the body. Yeah. And then the environment is super important for the sensualist because it's all about the senses. It needs to be the right environment. And then playful exploration important because you need the variety of those sensations to really open you up. So next one, the passion seeker, yeah? And so for the passion seeker, what's the most important is the intimate resonance. It's that passionate connection with their person. Yeah, that's what really turns them on. Because passion seeker is all about chemistry. It's about passion. It's about connection. Yeah. And of course, right, self-intimacy comes first and then the intimate resonance. For the adventurer blueprint, environment and playful exploration are most important. Yeah. Because adventure is all about new sensations, new places, new excitement. Yeah. The adventure. So the environment, different environments. Yeah. And then really playing. So if your sex life is like, okay, this is how we do this routine, it's not going to work for you if you are an adventurist. Yeah. So let me know how that lands. I'll just check on the Facebook. Tell me how it lands. Does this make sense before we go to the next one? So the next one is the nurturer, yeah? So for the nurturer, what's really important is the internal state and intimate resonance, yeah? Because they thrive on safety and nourishing connection, they need a sense of care, trust, predictability. So they need the person to be there for them. Yeah, that intimate resonance where I feel held. Environment can be quite important as well because they thrive on safety. Yeah, that they can really totally relax. And then for the erotic alchemist, spiritual beliefs, internal state, and intimate resonance are most important because they thrive on this meaningful spiritual connection where lovemaking is so much more than just physical or emotional pleasure. Yeah. So that's what's important for alchemist. If you're alchemist, yeah, and you don't have spiritual, like there's no meaning, then you're not gonna be fulfilled and your desire is not gonna be there. Because why would I want something that doesn't really fulfill me? Yeah. Why would I want McDonald's when I'm actually thriving on really organic, beautiful food? So now let's look at the sexual inhibition system. I just have a sip of water. I've got this big bottle because last time I had a cup and I spilled it all over my computer, which wasn't good. So the sexual inhibition system, yeah, that breaks and then show up through the sexual desire matrix and shadow sexual desire blueprints, yeah? That's how the breaks show up. And these are the factors that shut down your desire, often unconsciously. So this is our tree, yeah? And then there's too much shade, yeah? Then they spread Roundup on the tree, and then they even cut the tree, yeah? So these are the breaks. And let's see how a shadow sexual desire blueprints, yeah, represent the breaks, yeah, how. So the more our shadow blueprint is activated, the more breaks we have. And the more our shadow sexual blueprint is activated, the more challenged our desire matrix becomes. And then the more closed our body, emotions, and soul are to sexual intimacy. Yeah, so if I just repeat it again, the more our shadow sexual desire blueprint is activated, the more breaks we have. And the more our shadow sexual desire blueprint is activated, the more challenged our desire matrix is. Because remember, desire matrix can represent both, yeah, brakes and accelerators. Yeah. And so then the more closed we are. And if your shadow sexual desire blueprint is activated, it means it needs more healing. Yeah. When shadow sexual desire blueprint, like as you looked at the shadow desire blueprints, and if you feel like, oh, this is so me, yeah, there's a lot of it in me, you really need to heal. And the piece here, what's important to know that the healing doesn't happen in isolation, especially the sexual healing, because when trauma happens in relationship, it needs to be healed in relationships. Yeah. Trauma happens when we are overwhelmed and when there's no one there for us to help us regulate and process. Because bad things can happen, yeah? But if there's someone there with us, it actually doesn't have to traumatize us. Because when someone is there with us, we can process it and we can let go. Yeah? Of course, there's very intense traumas, which are something's gonna stay. But most of the time, when trauma happens, the biggest missing piece is the presence of someone else. And that's how it gets locked in us because it's too overwhelming to process it. So we lock it in part of our psyche. And that's how it keeps on living in our psyche, in our bodies. Yeah. And that's why healing needs to happen in relationships with the right support and connection. Like, no matter how much you read or reflect, deep healing requires others. We can't heal relational trauma on our own. It needs to have relational space. So if you feel like, well, I've worked so much, and that's where I guess that's why it breaks my heart sometimes when women go like, but I've done so much. I read so many books, right? I've done so much self-help, and why am I still broken? So it's not your fault. It's not that you're broken. It's you didn't have enough support. I hope you can really take this away from this training, yeah? That it's not about understanding it and trying to do it by yourself. Things haven't healed. Like, you can understand everything, yeah? But we can't think our way through trauma. We can't think our way through those intimate experiences that actually hurt us. We need relational healing. That's how it happens, yeah? And that's why I so love working with groups of women, because it's such an important space. Yeah. And so if we look at the healing alchemist, yeah, let's see how they interact with the sexual desire matrix. Yeah, and these are our blueprints. Healing alchemist, past trauma, like this past trauma, mistrust in intimacy. Then there's the self-worth blueprint, and it's whether we have active inner critic. Then we have the hidden fire, where it's all about emotional suppression and disconnection. Then we have the pleaser blueprint, and where we focus on other needs at the expense of our own needs. And the performer blueprint, which means the disconnection from authentic desire, yeah, where we need to impress others, we need to perform, and then we feel loved. And this underlying feeling that as I am, I'm not enough. So let's look how all of these blueprints interact with the sexual desire matrix. And so all areas will be affected here with the Healing Alchemist blueprint, but especially body love, erotic voice, and intimate resonance. And because this blueprint carries trauma, and trauma makes intimate connection unsafe, yeah? And we start to feel unsafe in our body. We're not able to express our needs and desires because that trust is broken. The next blueprint, self-worth blueprint, yeah? Self-intimacy, body love, and erotic voice and intimate resonance will be affected. Because when we're not feeling worthy of love, we have active inner critic, yeah? And we find it then hard to actually be at peace in our bodies, yeah? To love our bodies. And then we're afraid to speak up our needs and desires because we're afraid of the rejection, yeah? If I'm not worthy, I can't really speak my voice, because if I really present who I am, I'll be rejected. And then playful exploration becomes really difficult because we're afraid to show our vulnerability. We're afraid to just play. Yeah, we're afraid to just relax, because there is a sense of, if people come closer to me, they really see who I am, they're not going to find anything interesting. Yeah, I'll be just boring for them, or like there's something wrong with me. They're not going to like what they see. So I can't really relax. And to play and show our vulnerability, we need to be able to relax. So see how you relate to this one. What opens up for you? And so then now go to this one. Let's go to the hidden fire blueprint, yeah? And so for the hidden fire blueprint, self-intimacy and erotic voice are most affected. Because there is some pressure of emotions, we often don't know and don't want to know what we feel, yeah? And then we can't express ourselves. We can't really tell others how we feel, yeah? If I'm suppressing all of my emotions, then how can I even present that to others, yeah? And then of course intimate resonance suffers, because how can I find resonance with others if I'm not able to open up, if I'm not able even to find that resonance with myself? And then there's no authentic communication. Yeah, our erotic voice is deeply affected. And when there's no authentic erotic voice, we can't find intimate resonance. Yeah, can you see how I need to have that intimacy with myself? Then I'm able to speak it out. Yeah, and then I'm able to find intimate resonance. How these all aspects are related. And now let's go to the pleaser blueprint. And for pleaser blueprint, self-intimacy, erotic voice, and playful exploration are affected the most. Because we're so focused on other people's need that we don't pay attention to our needs, yeah? And then we can't express them to others. And lastly, the performer blueprint. And so for performer blueprint, self-intimacy, erotic voice, and intimate resonance are affected a lot. Because when we're focused on performing, yeah, we feel like I can't express myself authentically because I'll be rejected for who I am. Yeah. And then of course there is no intimate resonance. Yeah, because no one actually, what happens there, and women with this blueprint, they feel like people don't really care, they don't really love me for who I am. But the problem here is, do you actually show yourself? Can people feel into who you are? Do you allow them to see your deep heart, to see your fears? Yeah, and just like yesterday I worked and had 3 couples, and it was so painful and beautiful to see how the couples, they protect themselves because they're so scared that if you really see who I am, if you see how much I need you, how much I love you, you're going to reject me. And so both partners start to hide themselves, and then the other partner has no idea, and the disconnection happens. They have no idea how much you love me, how much you need me, and then there's no intimate resonance. Yeah, so see how you can relate to that. And with all of that, yeah, you might think that your circumstances or maybe your partner affect you the most, and that's why your desire is not there. And yes, relational safety, hugely important. Yeah, if there's no relational safety in your relationship, if there's no connection, then of course it's very difficult to open our bodies, yeah, to love, because as I said, our desire quite often is responsive. We need to respond to something, and if there's nothing to respond to, yeah, if you don't want to respond to your partner, then of course your desire shuts down. But the thing is, the most powerful brakes and accelerators are internal, yeah? And this is good news because it means we are in control. We can change them. We can enhance our accelerators, we can quieten our brakes. Yeah, so it's all up to you. And of course, as I say, relational piece hugely important. And you can change. And I totally believe as women, we have so much power in relationships. If we can connect to our love, we can open up our bodies, our heart to love. Our partners are actually willing to step forward and be there with us when we soften, yeah, when we can open up and receive them. They're actually craving that intimacy as well. And of course, right, if they're not there for you when you open up and when you soften, if your relationship been in a difficult place, it's going to take a bit of time for them to come back to you. Yeah. But I know that through your openness, through your softness, through your vulnerability, through connection to your erotic energy, you can actually shift relational dynamic just in amazing ways. Yeah. And quite often, if we've been in a bad place for a while, it's important to get support again. Yeah. Because with the support, we can change the dynamic quite quickly. But if you try by yourself, it's really difficult because then you start to give up. It's like, well, I've tried and it didn't work. Yeah. So important to get support if things are not working. And so that's what exactly we're going to do in the 3 month Sexually Empowered Radiant Woman course, yeah, with the support of other women, with powerful practices. Yeah. And I've got a very clear and proven structure. And I have taught 12 cohorts of this method, and I keep on improving it, and I can see how it really works. So right now, I just want to take you through those 5 steps that you need to take to start actually living, yeah, in the healthy aspects of your desire matrix, to start living your light sexual desire blueprint rather than your shadow sexual desire blueprint, yeah? And I call it the Sexually Empowered Radiant Woman method. So please take your pen, take your journal, and just put down what do you need to focus on, which areas you actually really need to focus on, yeah? And so the first step of the Sexually Empowered Radiant Woman method is to activate your potential. It's so important to step into the picture of what's possible for me. Yeah. What is it that I really deeply desire? Because quite often we minimize our desires because if I feel like, well, I can't really have it, then I'm not even going to want it. And then we put our happiness on the back burner. So important to actually, okay, what's possible for me? What do I deeply want? And even right now, I invite you, if you connect to yourself, close maybe your eyes, lower your gaze, and feel into if I could have anything I want as it relates to intimacy, to sexuality, to relationships, what is it that I really want? And just take a couple of moments to feel into that. If I could have anything I wanted, what would that be? Just write that down. If I could have anything I wanted as it relates to intimacy, to sexuality, to my relationship with my body, how do I want to feel? What do I want to share? What do I want to experience? That's a very important step. Actually, what do I really want? Yeah. And then the next step, what's very important, is to release trauma, shame, and judgments. And in that step, what we do, and I've got this way of working with our inner critical voice, where we turn that inner critical voice into our support figure. Yeah. And there's a whole process that I do around it. But if we have that active inner critical voice, we can't open our hearts and body to love and intimacy. So hugely important. And also to release past trauma, especially if we had sexual trauma. Trauma lives in the body, and we can't open our hearts and bodies to intimacy because it's not a safe place to be inside. So we shut down our desire. So if you had past negative experiences, hugely important to actually work through that. Yeah. And you don't have to keep on talking about the trauma, because we can't work through that just by talking. We can't talk our way out of it. It's actually, there's a different way, and that's why my Hakomi psychotherapy training comes in. We work through actually connecting to the body and just releasing it through the body without actually having to go into the story of what happened. Yeah. And it's a magical way of working with that. And also what I do, what I look at, also what's been passed down to us generation to generation. Yeah. Grandparents, parents, and then I'm carrying that. And it's so important to become clear on what has been passed down to me, because then you can see it, look at it, and you can put it down. I don't have to carry it. Quite often we think it's my problem. Yeah, something is broken in me. And then when I actually start seeing, actually, oh, it's been my mom, my grandma, that's where it's coming from. And then we create the separation, and then we can put it down. And then the most beautiful thing is that I don't have to pass it on to my children. It stops with me. Yeah. And it's such a beautiful, empowering state. So when we do this work, it's not just for you. A lot of it, like for me, has to do with our children. And I started to really focus on this work when my daughter was born, and she's 16 now. And I remember it just was that moment when she was just getting born, she coming out, yeah, out of my vagina, and I see her there. And in that moment, she was so vulnerable and so beautiful. And it's like was decision. I'm not gonna pass on to her all my traumas. I'm not gonna pass on to her that past that I have carried, my mom carried, my grandma carried. And that was such a powerful moment for me where I've decided that's enough. I'm gonna deal with that. Yeah. And by the time she was 1, I took her around the world to visit all my teachers to actually really figure it out. How can I create, like, process everything in myself so she doesn't need to do that? And I feel I was quite successful at that. And of course, she's 16 and things are happening. But the way she connects to me, the way she talks to me about intimacy and her desires and the love, it's just so amazing. And I feel like, yeah, I've done something there where she doesn't have to carry my weight. And that's what really inspires my work. That when we do this work, our children can become so much happier. They don't have to carry our load. And so that's step 2. Step 3, where we go, is we unlock the ancient body wisdom. Sexuality happens in the body. We need to be deeply connected to our bodies to actually feel the desire. Yeah. And if we're judging our bodies, if we're disconnected from our bodies, if we treat our bodies as machines, then how can we find that sexual desire? Yeah. How can we open up? How can we soften? And in that step, I teach 7 body blueprints. It's how women relate to their bodies. And I know that once we deeply connect to our body, we start to use our body as inner GPS. And it helps us to make decisions, yeah? To actually, especially if, like for single women, right? To choose who's right for me, which partner is right for me or not. We can't think our way through it. We can have tons of lists, but actually our body knows. That's where it comes from, that wisdom. And the more connected we are to our bodies, the more we can open up, the more we can start trusting ourselves, yeah? So that's step 3. The step 4, we need to ignite the power and beauty of our sexuality. And that's where we need to actually practice. Yeah. We need to have a lot of sacred sexuality practices where we can start opening our bodies to love. Yeah. And I teach a lot of different practices work for different women. We're all unique, remember. And then in step 5, we're creating your unique radiance map. So what's important that you have at least 5 minutes each day to practice opening your body to love. You can't just expect yourself, yeah, come from -10 and then you're with your partner and you're somehow supposed to go to 100. That's not going to work. what we need to do, and that's our responsibility. I need to maintain that openness in my body. I need to practice openness. Yeah, I need to practice responsiveness in my body. Yeah, how can I breathe so I receive the world and my body responds? And so then when I come to my partner, yeah, I'm already like at 50, and then it's very easy to go to 100. So practice is super, super important. So let me know how this resonates. And that's exactly what we do in the Sexually Empowered Radiant Woman course. And as I said, I'm offering a one complimentary session, so your soulful sex life session. So if you're interested in joining the course just to see if that's the right place for you, please do book a call. It's completely free, and we'll look at where you're at, what's important for you, because sometimes what's important is not doing the work by yourself, but actually working with your partner. Yeah, having couple therapy can be important, maybe one-on-one work, maybe it's the group course, and I find the group course works just magic. Yeah. And so now let's come back to simplicity. Yeah. So we've looked at sexual design matrix, at the blueprints, yeah, brakes and accelerators. But coming back to simplicity, it's actually all about expansion and contraction. Yeah. So the map shows you what creates expansion in you and what creates contraction in you. So if you focus just on that, yeah, what expands me, what contracts me, how open I am, how closed I am, how much love can I receive, how much love I push back, how much love am I giving, how much love am I holding here close to myself and not giving to anyone. Even right now, check in how open your body is from 1 to 10, 10 being most open, 1 being closed. Where are you at? And if, yeah, the sexual desire matrix and blueprints, they all help you to be specific. But even if you just take this expansion versus contraction, that's all we're focusing on. And the simplicity, that's all there is. Yeah. And also, what I do in my work is giving women a choice. Yeah. Giving women a choice to keep on expanding, keep on loving, keep on opening, that they're in control of what's happening in their body rather than being the effect of what happened in the past. Yeah, what's happening in our circumstances. So the thing is, you are in control. You can choose to open or close, and that's what my work does for women, that you can start feeling I am in control. Because quite often what happens when especially shadow sexual desire blueprint is activated, we feel out of control. It just happens to me. Yeah, I shut down. Yeah, I cringe when my partner touches me, or I just dissociate, and it just happens, and we lose that sense of control. So this work, what it really helps you to do is like, oh, I am in control. I have a choice. I can choose to keep on opening and keep myself safe. Yeah. And the thing is, you might need more support to get access to your control panel. For now, it might feel like, yeah, it's just happening to you. So, but the thing is, it's possible to find that sense, yeah, I can choose. I've got access to my control panel. Yeah. So if you're interested to find out how you can get access to your control panel, book your Soulful Sex Life session. The link is somewhere under this video. Yeah. And so right now, let's go into mapping out your sexual tree of desire. So if you take your journal, yeah, and you can draw a tree, yeah, just like a couple of sticks. Doesn't need to be this beautiful. Later on, you can print out this. You've got this image. You can print it out. And so what I invite you right now to look at accelerators and brakes, yeah? And so there are accelerators, out accelerators, yeah? That's the environment, yeah? If you look at the sexual desire matrix, that's the micro factors, yeah? Contextual factors. Life stage, community, yeah? Spiritual beliefs. So that's the outer accelerators and brakes. And then the inner accelerators and brakes, that's the core factors, yeah? Body love, intimate resonance, yeah? Internal state, erotic voice. So I'll give you 5 minutes now. So if you can just write down, yeah, your tree of desire, what are your accelerators, what are your brakes? And see if you can put some outer and inner, yeah, accelerators and brakes. So it's very clear for you. What is it? What do I need? What dampens my desire? Yeah, for example, like when I'm stressed at work, I can't even think about intimacy, yeah? When I feel disconnected from my body, I avoid sexual experiences, yeah? And so see, what can you put there? And I'll just put some music for you so we can explore this. So start completing your tree of desire. I'm just starting to complete this. And I do invite you to take time, by yourself later on and really complete this tree of desire. And remember that you need to collect all the XP points for this challenge on our membership site to keep the challenge. And please share on our Facebook group so you can win. Relationship reboot session, or the Sexually Empowered Radiant Woman course. And please go ahead and do book a session. I offer this session while we do this challenge. It's such a chance to actually talk to me, and so I can really see what's unique for you. Because your transformation, it's not a solo journey. And the relationship healing, you have to heal relational trauma with someone. You can't do it in isolation. And remember, don't wait for heart melting sex. Cause it to happen in your life, because you can do that. It's so possible for you. And if you have any questions, please do email me. You can private message me. So I'll just check what's here, what's in our Facebook group. Let me know any questions, and I'll be staying on the Facebook group, and you'll have the replay till the end of Sunday. So all the replays will be there in the Facebook group, and on Sunday I'm gonna tell who's gonna be the winner of the relationship reboot session and the 3 months course. So please keep your eye there and engage as much as you can. It's so nice when we can share with each other and we can create this new experience for ourselves. And it was so beautiful to be here with you. I'm so happy. And just keep on engaging, keep on sharing, go back to the trainings, let me know your questions. Big hug. I'll see you soon. Bye.